Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to our very first episode of the EWB podcast. I'm your host, Kayla, and today we're starting strong with a conversation that sets the foundation for everything that we do here. We're joined by our chapter president, and we're going to break down what Engineers Without Borders is, why it exists, and what our chapter is doing to make a real impact, both globally and right here in our community. So let's jump in. Before we get into EWB, can you introduce yourself and share what you've brought to this organization?
Yeah, so hello, I'm Kayla Warchek. I'm a junior in Civil Environmental Engineering and the new president of EWB, Engineers Without Borders. I'm super excited to take on that role. I kind of got into EWB initially with the thought in high school. I was researching clubs and knew this was something I wanted to be a part of. It's kind of just a great opportunity I always knew I wanted to be helpful in some way, use my engineering background, get some field experience throughout college. It provides a lot of great opportunities while helping a different community that you really don't get another experience with that at a different club. So it's something I kind of always knew I wanted to be a part of. And actually coming from Houston, I'm from Houston, Texas, and kind of made the long journey. It's one of the only schools that have an organization like this, and it was even a reason I came to Iowa State.
That's great. That's cool. I didn't know that. Well, building off of that, what was your first impression of EWB when you joined?
Yeah, so my first impression was actually kind of funny. It's a story I kind of like to share. I started my freshman year, but in the spring semester because with meeting times, I couldn't join in the fall. And I actually showed up, and we were in a different building that semester because of some issue on campus, and they separated us into rooms. So since I joined in the spring, there wasn't a lot of new people, so I was one of the only people that didn't know everybody, felt a little outsider vibes, and they issued us off. And how the club kind of works is the first day you're supposed to try to learn every group. And I was I want to be part of water distribution. That's the group I want to be in. It's something I've always looked into. Helping boreholes, super interesting to me. And the membership guy at the time, Arlen, was I'm going to be honest, I can't find the water distribution group. So can you, do you think you can just go into dam irrigation today? And I was all right, no reason not to. We only have 20 minutes left of club anyways. And I walked in the room, and our past president, Isaiah, was a part of that group at the time. And, I walked in, everybody was so friendly. And, it was honestly just one of my favorite experiences in college was walking into that room. And they asked me next week, I walked in, and they were you stuck with us? This is so funny. And I never left the group. And just kind of, appreciated the group for what it was worth and found my place. And now it's the research I want to go into and what I want to do with my full-time career, so it all worked out. It was pretty awesome.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah. For someone who has never heard of Engineers Without Borders, how would you describe what EWB is?
I would say Engineers Without Borders is a nonprofit organization that is worldwide. There's professional chapters and school chapters. You're able to meet everybody through different conferences, and that's kind of when I got a grasp on what the organization is on the whole. And one of the coolest things is the saying is power through community, and I think those words mean a lot. Seeing the adults come and talk to us at different conferences and really show us what our work is doing and how it's purposeful, I think is what the club is all about. So you're going and you're doing your community work and you're implementing all different projects. And even if you're not, we have so many trips that are all about data collection and surveying. And a bunch of the projects take a long time, and you're really able to see what a difference you're making. And it's even more about that. Specifically with the Iowa State chapter, we send a travel team out once a year, sometimes one in the summer now too. But that can only send 7 to 8 people, and a lot of our club actually just stays here and works year-round, and those are the people that I think are making such a difference. Show up every Wednesday and really get down in the grit of everything, and you're coming up with engineering work from scratch of it. So from a project like a napkin sketch all the way through completion most of the time, and some projects don't work out, you never see it get implemented, but the work itself is what's really mattering. And I think Engineers Without Borders really is just all about making a difference in communities that really need it.
Yeah. So it's just a great way to build hands-on
And just hands-on experience.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned we send travel teams and we're all working together. So what is the overall mission of EWB at Iowa State right now?
Right now at Iowa State, we have a bunch of different projects going on. I think there's like 7 to 8, but our big one is this clinic project. So we've been working on it for a couple years, and it's going to take like 6 more years. It's like a 10-year project, and we work hands-on in Ulo, Ghana. So that's the northwest region of Ghana in Africa. So yeah, we send a travel team every winter. I got the privilege to go last year, and that was awesome. So what we're doing there is we have a whole system of like water distribution work, a bunch of lines to boreholes, providing the community with clean water, which is super important. We have a lot of latrine work, as in the last couple of years. So you have a group that's building bathrooms for the community. We work on site with the high school, like the dormitories. So that's a big part of what we do. That's where our WITH project comes in. So we work with KNUST, which is a college in Kumasi, which is located just east of Ulo, about like 2 hours or a couple more hours than that. But we have our hands-on experience there. They can go, they can visit, super helpful with information. And yeah, so Iowa State, we're tackling so many issues every day, which is why we never run out of work. There's always projects to join and so much different activities to do. I've never met a club like it. We get to kind of challenge ourselves with a different experience every time you show up. You never know what you're really getting a part of, especially if you're a member. You just show up, your team lead explains to you what you're kind of going to tackle that day, and you can put in as much work as you want. A lot of work comes outside of those Wednesdays because if you're starting a project from scratch, it's going to take a while, but that clinic is really starting to get a hold on. We're going to have the roof on real soon, which means that we can open one of the wings and start helping the community.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. How long have you guys been working on the clinic?
I think it's been about 4 years since it was like pencil scratch, and we got about 6 more years to go. Since funding is getting to be a little bit of an issue, just with everything that's going on and costs going up, we're definitely have been delayed a little bit, but it's going to take charge pretty soon. That's another thing that's really cool about it is obviously 4 years ago, a lot of those people have graduated and moved on and starting their journeys of adult careers, and they're super helpful. I'm still in contact with people that were a part of the club before I even got here at Iowa State, and it's going to be a long time coming. That's why we're super important with documents. Like, we won't be here when the clinic is finally done, but I know we're going to be there to see the celebration of everybody finally getting all the help they need.
Yeah, that's so cool. So many different, like, generations of people can work on it.
And it's helping so many different generations, too.
Exactly. So how do you think students, no matter their major, can fit into these projects?
Yeah, I know it's called Engineers Without Borders, and we say this all the time, but we really need every major. A big thing that has been coming up on this new year is fundraising. Our new fundraising is led by an English major. Grant writing is huge. We have communications. We need everybody. I mean, there's things like this. We're making our TikToks. We're doing everything. Not everything is actual engineering work. That's a big part of it. But fundraising, making everybody come out to our events, even like just getting new ideas from people that aren't in engineering is so important. A lot of the times, I've came to club and started on a dam irrigation, worked through like building a channel, then I went to a bridge project, and there is a lot of engineering work into that. But realistically, a lot of our members are freshmen and sophomore, and you're not through the engineering program anyways. So we get in contact and get everything checked by professional engineers, but we have a lot going on, and we just need every major. I think the ones that aren't in engineering can be even more important sometimes.
Right.
Like a different mindset.
There you go. Yeah, I'm an architect, so
Yeah.
architecture, pre-architecture, but
In our-
I remember when I went to the booth at the very first time, John was working it. I specifically remember this, and I was looking for an architecture club, but we don't have any. So I was like looking so hard, but I saw your guys' clinic map, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
and he like looped me in, and then I almost joined electrical or plumbing because that's good background knowledge to know. And like you said, freshmen and sophomores, like it's good to just know, like
It's so
if
good
that's
to
something
get
you're
into
interested
it.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Revit does bring in a lot of people. It's like we have a whole engineering team on our clinic MEP, which is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And the thing is, I know our plumbing is led by civil engineers. I'm civil engineering. We don't deal with plumbing. It doesn't really matter which group you join. It's like you're going to get there, you're going to learn about it. That is an architecture project at its finest. And there's a bunch of engineers trying to take care of it. And that's one of the fun parts. It's just learning.
Right, yeah. Okay, going along with that, what skills do your members gain from being a part of this club?
Yeah, great question. I think the members get to learn so many different skills, and that's one of my favorite parts of being a member. My biggest one that I tell everybody is you're sitting in class and you're working on so much physical work at all times, and you never get to see how like a true project gets started to finish. And throughout the club, I'm just a junior, so been here for 2.5 years, and I've been a part of 3 projects that have been finished and on startup. And it's like you run through it all the different steps, and you actually get to go do field work and data collection and see how it all comes together, which I think is one of the best things you can learn as an undergrad and kind of figure out what you want to do. That's a great opportunity too. I never thought what I wanted to do was going to be some hydraulics work, and now I have my first water internship this summer, and you never know what you really want to be a part of, and getting access in club can show you so much more, and talking to people. I think that's one of the coolest part about being in Engineers Without Borders is you're surrounded by so many different people with all different backgrounds, and they have so much knowledge. A big thing you can learn is leadership. We have leadership positions all the way from your freshman year. So once you're a part of the club, we do cabinet runs in the beginning of the year, so in January. And we've had people like you're a freshman, and it's like you take charge, you take initiative, and you're already making so much happen for this club. And I mean, you could speak on that too. It's like awesome the way that you get the opportunity to do stuff like that as a freshman, and you can do it for resume building or whatever, but you're really making an impact.
Yeah, no, when I was like first joining this club, I remember how welcoming everyone was, and I was kind of worried being like a different major and not really having other like people like that also aren't engineering like in the club that I knew of yet. So I was kind of scared going into that, but I remember hearing that the communications like team was open, and I was like, oh, I like social media. I'm already the social media like manager for our soccer club. Like I could give it a try. So like over this last semester and the start of this one, I've just realized like how much of an impact it's making on me, and like how many different ideas I can bring to the table even when I'm not an engineer. So I feel like I can still bring a good part to the team. Yeah, so it's just great because I don't know, I don't feel like many other like leadership opportunities are in other clubs when you're a freshman. So it's a great opportunity to join.
No, I think it's fantastic, and like the work you're doing, it's awesome. Like I think freshmen bring a new mindset, a different experience. You're kind of fresh out of high school, which we haven't been in a second, and you're coming in with all these new ideas. We're so focused on what it has been done, how it's working, and when a freshman comes up to me and has an idea, it's like a score. Like it's like that is freaking fantastic,
Right.
And it's so much fun to see you guys involved and working and truly passionate about what you're doing at such an not an intro level, but like fresh to it. Yeah. Another thing is teamwork. Getting the option to like involve yourself with a group, which I think is something that's so important in an engineering relationship. Most degrees that are engineering based and really everything. So in every career you're ever going to go into, a lot of it is teamwork, and learning those skills hands on is so important. I think it makes you a well-rounded human being. It's something I take pride in. I might not get the right answer on everything and be the smartest one in the group, but it's learning how to work with all types of people, which I love everybody in Engineers Without Borders, which just makes it like a great opportunity to actually see what like good teamwork is, because I've never actually had a difficulty with anybody. We're all there for similar reasons, and it's just a great way to understand how awesome it can be. Yeah. Another thing that is a great skill is, even if you go on the trip or not, is culture awareness. So you're sitting there and you're dealing with a community that you might have heard of, but you've never really experienced hands-on. We do calls that everybody's welcome to with the community. If you get to travel, it's by far one of the most culture-shocking experiences I've ever had, and that is very serious. It's a very different life, and it's awesome that we get to help and get to talk to them, and I've met some of my favorite people there. It's like, I'll get into this later too, but like the kitchen ladies on site, which is another project we run, we help the community at the high school. So there's a bunch of different ladies that use these kitchen stoves that KNUST, our partnering college in Kumasi, built for them, and we've kept them up to date and running data collections to make sure like they're getting hot water, cooking at the least time as they can so they can sleep in a little bit more. And they simply, like while we were there, wanted us to learn so much about how their life is. And I never had somebody like sit me down and like care so much that like if I'm going to show interest, they genuinely want us to know. Right. And having that culture awareness, it's helpful here in the United States. It's helpful everywhere. It's going to get you very far in life, I think, if you simply can open your mind just a little bit more to everything going on. Another one is hands-on engineering, which I touched on before, but when you can actually go and do field work, and I know it's probably a little bit different in architect. I have a couple, like you do labs and stuff in engineering, and you get to do some fun ones, like I do surveying and different things like that, but it's like one semester, an hour a week, and it's like you're learning how to use all these equipments, but you never see how it actually impacts people and what the job's going to be like, and I've learned so much in this club, like actually watching, I've talked on this all the time too, it's like CAD program is huge in engineering, architecture, all different types. And I use it in class, but I would never be as successful I am in class if I didn't sit on my computer for countless of hours watching YouTube videos to learn how to make a bridge or a dam on CAD. And it's like, there's no one there to like kind of sit you through it, and you're going to go and you're going to get frustrated and have your team bonding, and it's just like, it is a lot of fun. And then you get to a group project, and I know we're all going to use CAD for the rest of our lives in our actual program and career field, and getting the experience now, as much as like that's not fun to some people, it's also why you're in the club. Like, right. You do really want to learn those skills, and it's awesome. And there's always people to teach you, and those regional conferences and everything like that run you through programs to make everything a smooth transition, which is just really cool that we have the resources to provide like simple like hacks to little things that I wouldn't learn in school ever. Another thing is project management. So seeing the projects go all the way through completion, which you're pretty lucky if you get an internship as an undergrad that's going to have a project from start to finish. If you're only working for 3 months in the summer, you're probably seeing ground break if you're in the project management because it's summertime. But a lot of us don't get an experience to do a co-op or have like 8 months of working in a row, which means you're probably not going to see something actually get built. But if you're going to be in this club for 4 years, I promise you're going to we've made 2 latrines in the last year, 3 since being there. Yeah, we've done a latrine for the last 3 years being implemented, which is a bathroom in Ghana and on site, and everybody's a part of that. So our sanitation team runs it, but everybody's watching those get implemented and change lives, and you're watching the celebrations, and we're all a part of that, which is awesome. And then the last thing I'll touch on is communication. I think simply getting the option to talk to different engineers all the time. We have people come in, people looking for interns. We have talks all the time to learn about what different things are. You're getting to do experiences like this, all different things. Like, there's communication in everything, and I think that's honestly the most important skill to learn. You're talking to different majors. We get everybody in the fundraising. Like, if you're going to be a part of the club, you're going to go out, you're going to work a concession stand, you're going to go to Deal's Orchard. There's a lot of different fun things we do, and that's getting involved in the community, which we really try to do here and over in ULO. And we love doing calls with everybody in ULO and talking to Paul and Justin and Zach and Ina and Zach will come visit. We stay at Ina's house in ULO, and she lives in Ohio now, so she comes up. She came up last year. Everybody got a chance to meet her. So many different opportunities just at all times.
That's so great. Yeah. Okay, what does the process look like from identifying a community need to actually implementing a solution?
Okay. Yeah, so I think from hands-on experience. So like I said, I was able to travel to Ghana last year. And while I was there, we were finishing up our dam irrigation project. So doing a lot of analysis, explaining to the community that I think this should be implemented. And that was more of a, we're not going to implement, we made this all up for you. Here are the plans, and I really think this should happen project. Kind of more like a consultation. And then we were there, and I was talking to Dr. Meyer, like our head faculty advisor, and we're traveling over by the Gozu Dam, which is a little farther away, and he's explaining to me that this emergency spillway, which is like an area offset to a dam that like is purposeful for when it overflows, water can go out of it. And he's explaining to me that this emergency spillway is so broken down and has been for like 25 to 30 years, which was just insane to me. And in the rainy season, children can't cross it and get to school, the school we're working on. And, like, that's just it. So once it starts to rain, you're going to get 6 feet of water, like, rapidly flowing through this area, and we should make a solution. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm in civil engineering. We need a new project. Dam irrigation ends up switching over to water infrastructure. And we're going head in on this new bridge project, and it's a big one. It's going to be like a 60-meter bridge. I think it's 66 meters, which is about like 100 feet, covering a walkway, and literally started as a napkin sketch over in ULO, talking to Zach and Ina and Paul and Justin over at dinner you're only there for 2 weeks, so coming up with as much as we can, as much knowledge as we can to bring it back to the team, introduce the idea to them, get everybody on board, and see if it happens. So that's exactly what we did. We traveled back to the United States. I introduced the project to the team. I was like, you guys did amazing. Dam irrigation, that's kind of over. Pack it up, which it's always weird to see a project finish, but a new one begin. And then we designed a bridge by the end of the semester. We got a report all written by this year, and the travel team this time reported it over to the municipal chapter, which is kind of like the mayor in ULO. They loved the idea. We got the government on board, and that's what a project like that kind of looks like. We're helping them out. All of our funding kind of goes to the clinic, so we have to work on our own funding and figure everything out. And it's just cool to see something literally go from a conversation like, do you think that you'd be interested to working on this? And that goes back to saying, like, as just a member of this club, you get such a say, and you get to actually see and make your ideas come alive. And I thought it was cool. We went through, should we do a bridge? Should we do a culvert? What's the best motive to affordably transfer people across the way, and how can it actually get built with such a high construction? And looking at other teams and learning processes through the way and getting help from professional chapters and companies like HDR, we were really able to find a way to see how projects move. And that goes along with the clinic. I know that was just an idea one day this community asked for it. We had been working with them, and Dr. Meyer got his hands on the project in a way and kind of took a leap from there. That started years before I came, and I know it literally started as a little sketch, and it has changed so much. So even just now, we're trying to get the roof on the northwest wing, and it's changed like 3 times, and you're trying to get a company to bid it out. And it's cool to see like a project actually go through completion and how much it can change and what the whole process is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What impact have you personally seen EWB make, either in communities or in students' lives?
Yeah, so watching the impacts is one of my favorite part of the club, and now being president, I really get like an oversight view, and that's one of the reasons I did it. Like, you're sitting there and you get to see all the different groups and all their engineering work, and that's why I suggest so many times for like, even if you're just a member, you should come to our behind the scenes meetings. And I just love the idea of looking at all of the projects, because once you're like sitting at your table looking at your project, that's all you're thinking about, all you're hearing about, and you kind of lose track that we have 7 different awesome projects going around that are impacting the community in every different way. Like, building a bridge is nothing like giving the community water. Like, those are very different, and like hearing about what's going on is so cool. And that's where I've looked at how much this impacts everybody, the members specifically, like watching somebody light up when their calculation works. It's all things that like we're genuinely doing from start to finish ourselves. Like, all of this is scratch work, and when it works out, it's so cool. And it's amazing to see how excited everybody gets when an implementation's done. Getting to see like a team celebrate, and like at the end of the year when we do our pie in the face, and like literally anything, like just all of our little celebrations, because this club does amazing work, like some of the coolest work I've ever seen, and such a great like projects to be a part of, and community of full of celebrations and traditions that go on. The other part of that is in the community, which just sounds cliche, but it's like, back to the kitchen ladies, I was sitting there and I had never, like, we're going around, you're talking to everybody, and like watching like the community and the way they light up, it's like, one, they just love that you're there, and like the kids are awesome and they all want chewing gum, and that's a big thing we do. And like, it's all those little things of like giving them just like little joys in life. Like, the kitchen ladies are coming up, like every adult is, and it's like all we do is carry around like orange, like Orbit gum, and hand them a piece like every time we're out the door. And watching somebody's face actually light up is just one of the coolest experiences I think you can be a part of. Being sat down and being explained by a community member like the kitchen ladies, which they've been there for so many years. And I actually met this lady. Her name was Florence Nightingale. And she took me aside and she was like, "You're going to help me clean Headmaster's cabin." And I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. It's like 6 a.m. And like, she brings me in there and we're scrubbing. And I'm like, "Can you like teach me stuff? Like, can you explain to me like just kind of like what you're doing?" Like, she was just, I didn't even actually have to ask. Their language there is Dagari. And she's sitting there and she's like, "No, like, you're saying this wrong." And I'm like, okay, like that, like, can you help me? Like, I really do want to learn. And she's explaining to me like all their culture and their traditions. And they threw a party that night for a celebration of a collaboration with the football team. And she was there and she was talking, and she's known Dr. Meyer for years, but it was the first time I had met her on the trip, and it was the day we were leaving, I think. And genuinely seeing like the way the community appreciates and how much work they put in, that's when you really know that like what we're doing is impacting their life, because they themselves are the ones doing all the work. It's like we're providing a way for this community to grow. But like, I was on a conference call with Paul today, and he's like, "I want to do this. Like, I want to reward you guys with that. Like, if you give me the opportunity, I will build this." They keep up the maintenance for everything. Obviously, we only travel once a year, and the community itself is just so like enlightening, and yeah, they're so excited and really want to see everything have a difference be made, which is just the coolest thing to like see impact on.
Wow, that's a great way to put that. Yeah. Why do you think organizations like Engineers Without Borders matter in today's world?
Okay. I think organizations like Engineers Without Borders really matters in the fact that like there's so many different communities that everybody's impacting, and specifically with Iowa State, we work with Ghana, like I said, and you're watching a community be given the necessary needs to make growth on their own. So kind of like I was just saying on the last question, we provide help, but they do the work. And like when I was there, we were building the latrine, and Paul and Justin are the ones, like, we came up with plans, but they're like, yeah, but this is kind of how it works here. And this is how it's actually going to be sustainable. And they do a lot of work when we're not there. They send us pictures and updates. And since our communication is so much better now, with laptops and everything that we were able to provide last year, we can do Teams calls and everything. And you're really able to see, like, the growth mindset that they have. And there's a lot of people that like come in, and I know there's organizations that go to a community and leave, and like we are one of the only ones that are sticking around for like 10 years since we took on such a big project like the clinic. And it's just cool to see how much of a care that these people have for their community. And once they have the necessary needs, just kind of basic needs, we all need water and everything like that, to watch them like go and keep all these resources purposeful and make changes in the community themselves.
All right. Yeah. If someone listening wants to get involved, what is the best first step?
Yeah, this is going to be the most basic answer, but it's simply showing up. I showed up my first day, knew no one in the club at all, and same with that. Like, I showed up, I applied for travel that semester because my team was like, yes, like you should so apply to travel. Got on the travel team, knew no one. Like, figured out there's 2 other girls, Arissa and Sarah, that are in my major. Like, made a lot of friends along the way, but I know it's scary. Like, you're at a new school. I came with not a lot of friends. Like, again, from Houston, Texas, it's like I didn't come with a ton of people I knew. And you kind of just have to join things. And if it's not Engineers Without Borders, you should so join a club. You should join more than one club, try out a bunch of things, see where you kind of fit and what your purpose is, make friends along the way. And honestly, if your heart is there and you want to make a difference, you're going to find the right place for yourself. And I think Engineers Without Borders could so be that way. And if you're interested in joining, come talk to us, literally anybody in the club. We're all so excited to talk about it at all times. And it's so simple to get involved. You can get on a project right away. If you end up not liking it, you can go switch and you're like, oh, I think I'm actually interested in this. We have people hop tables every week. It simply doesn't matter. You're going to find your place and everything about it.
Yeah. What are you most excited for the future of our chapter?
Okay, so I'm so excited for a lot, just to see how everything kind of gets put in place, see everybody's growth, and like how people just come in and out throughout the years. When everybody graduates, the celebrations on them. But one thing I'm just so excited about is to see that clinic get built. We talk about it all the time. It's been around for so long. The plans are made for the future, but they change on like a weekly, monthly basis. Nothing stays perfect. It is nice that since it's such a long project and the scope is so different, we get the chance to change through time and get like the right resources to make it as perfect as possible. And I know it's going to be a bit, but we've all talked about traveling back and seeing that clinic get built one day. Now that we got drones and everything out there, you're really going to be able to see it in a whole new light. And I think that's just going to be one of the coolest things. All of our projects, like if this bridge that I've been working on gets built, I'm super excited for that. See kids going in. It'd just be awesome if you get to go one day and see that clinic be in use, get doctors in there, and really see an impact that it's making on the community.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today and helping us kick off this podcast with a deeper understanding of what Engineers Without Borders is all about. If you're listening and you want to be part of a meaningful, hands-on work that truly impacts communities, stay tuned for more episodes and updates from our chapter. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.